New York City telecom network.
Investigators found a trove of computers and phones, illegal firearms, and cocaine.
President's message to pregnant women.
Don't take Tylenol.
Kimmel set to return to TV.
We got word that our long national late nightmare is over.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, President Trump addressing the United Nations General Assembly for the first time since returning to the White House amid word of action by the Secret Service in the shadow of the UN. Here's CBS's Nicole Skanga.
The investigation began earlier this year when a number of unidentified White House officials, including some protected by the Secret Service, started receiving anonymous threats over the phone. That led the Secret Service to discovering and dismantling a sprawling network of servers, including more than 100,000 SIM cards at abandoned apartment buildings across the New York City area. Federal law enforcement says this telecommunications network was so powerful, it was capable of sending 30 million text messages per minute, potentially overwhelming and shutting down New York City's cellular network.
It was allegedly used by several foreign governments to communicate with organized crime gangs and drug cartels. No arrests have been made so far. There's been some pushback from the scientific community after President Trump urged pregnant women not to take Tylenol. CBS's Dr. John LaPook reports he claimed it can increase the risk of autism in children.
If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
Without providing detailed new evidence, on Monday, President Trump reversed decades of medical advice given to pregnant women, urging expectant mothers to avoid taking medicine containing acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol. According to the administration, using acetaminophen during pregnancy is associated with an increased risk of autism. The Food and Drug Administration plans to initiate a safety label change to reflect the new advice.
So obviously people are scared.
Dr. Stephen Fleischman is the president of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists.
You should not, under any circumstances, avoid taking acetaminophen if you have a fever early in pregnancy.
The maker of Tylenol said, "We believe independent, sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. It's the safest pain reliever option for pregnant women."
Jimmy Kimmel is set to return to late-night TV tonight after Disney ended his suspension. His removal from the air touched off a free speech debate. Correspondent Jonathan Bigliotti reports Sinclair, the owner of some ABC affiliates, vows not to carry the show.
Our friend Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air.
Late night show hosts rejoice. Jimmy Kimmel's return to television tonight. It was last Wednesday that Disney, the parent company of ABC, took the show off the air because Kimmel said this.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
On Monday, Disney said the decision was made to bench Kimmel because the comments were, quote, ill-timed and insensitive. But after, quote, having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday.
President Trump addresses the United Nations General Assembly today for the first time since returning to the White House. He also meets with Arab leaders about the war in Gaza. The White House is revealing basic details of the agreement that it says will save TikTok for more than 170 million Americans who use it. CBS Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady.
This proposal, it would take the U.S. operations of TikTok and it would move it over into a new American joint venture. And it would create and license a copy of that all-important TikTok algorithm, and it would be controlled by this new American joint venture. Now, Oracle, that's an American technology firm. It would do the security for this, it would retrain the algorithm, and it would be owned majority by American investors.
CBS News has learned the Secret Service has dismantled a network of server farms, including 100,000 SIM cards, at abandoned buildings in the New York City area. Officials say the network was so powerful it could send up to 30 million text messages a minute, potentially shutting down the city's cellular network. It was allegedly used by several foreign governments to communicate with organized crime gangs and drug cartels. No arrests have been made so far. CBS's Michael Wallace tells us President Trump has signed an order targeting Antifa.
His executive order declares the anti-fascist movement a domestic terrorist organization. It threatens to investigate and prosecute donors who financially support Antifa. But many legal experts